The whiteout screams across Anchorage, Alaska. The city is blind, but AK-9 is not. A Siberian husky named Kota slams against his cruiser door, forcing his grieving partner, Officer Ben, to stop in the middle of nowhere. He senses what the storm hides. A 7-year-old boy, Leo, sitting frozen on a sidewalk. His jacket is thin, his hands are blue, and his body is a final desperate shield for the 1-year-old sister in his arms. Her lips are purple. Her breathing has almost stopped. They are running from a man named Jared. They are running from a locked door, a fresh cigarette burn, and the sound of their mother's muffled cries. What happens next will pull a father from his own frozen grief. This isn't just a rescue. It is the beginning of a family found in the heart of a storm. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Anchorage vanished. It was a whiteout, a violent, suffocating eraser of reality. The wind didn't just howl. It was an abrasive shriek that drove snow horizontally like billions of tiny needles. Visibility was non-existent. The city was paralyzed under a state of emergency. Inside Patrol Car 214, Officer Ben Carter steered more by memory than by sight. His knuckles were white on the wheel. Ben was 44, a man whose sharp features and trimmed salt and pepper beard looked weathered by this very wind. His Arctic blue eyes held a permanent shadow. This weather was a personal torment. It was a precise, agonizing echo of the storm that had swallowed his 5-year-old son, Liam, 5 years prior. The guilt was a physical weight that flared every time the wind screamed. His only partner in the passenger seat was Kota, a 4-year-old Siberian husky. An Arctic specialist, a black and white search and rescue engine whose icy blue eyes were a startling match for Ben's. The animal was restless, vibrating, a low thrumming whine emanating from his chest. "Easy, boy," Ben murmured. "Just a patrol." They were navigating a low-income neighborhood near Ship Creek. Ben had just decided to fall back when everything changed. Kota exploded. One moment he was a tense statue, the next he was launching himself against the reinforced door. The bark was desperate, percussive. Kota heel. Ben slammed the brakes. The vehicle fishtailed before lurching to a stop. He squinted, straining to see. Nothing. Just the blinding void. But Kota was infallible. The husky clawed at the door, his eyes locked on a spot 10 yards ahead. Ben's hand slammed the door latch. The wind tore the door from his grip. The temperature drop felt like a 100-degree swing, searing his lungs. "Kota, with me." But the husky was already gone, a black and white streak vanishing into the churning void. Ben followed the sound of frantic barking. Every step was a battle. His mind flashed to another search, another small figure in the snow. Not again. Not this time. The barking changed to a high-pitched, agonizing whine. Ben lunged forward, stumbling around the building's corner. "Kota, where are you, boy?" He saw him. Kota was digging furiously at a small hunched shape sitting upright against the building's foundation. Ben's heart stopped. He fell to his knees. It was a child. Leo. He was impossibly small, maybe 7 years old, still conscious, his body locked in violent, convulsive shivers. His face was waxy pale blue, streaked with frozen tears. He wore a thin, unzipped jacket over a faded t-shirt, soaked jeans, and worn sneakers. No hat, no gloves. Then Ben saw what the boy was protecting. A bundle of pink blankets. Ben gently pried the boy's frozen arms apart. Inside was a baby. Maya. Perhaps a year old, in catastrophic distress. Her skin was a terrifying dusky purple. She wasn't shivering, she was limp. Her tiny chest hitched and a faint sound escaped her. Stridor. The sound of a closing airway. Asphyxiation. Asthma. "Oh God," Ben whispered. "Help her," a voice whispered. Ben looked at Leo. The boy's eyes pleaded. Maya. She can't breathe. I am, son. I'm helping, Ben said. He fumbled for his radio. Dispatch 214. I have 2 pediatric victims. 7-year-old male, severe hypothermia. 1-year-old female, code blue, respiratory arrest, possible severe asthma. I need a bus now. The radio crackled. 214, no EMS vehicle can reach you. Roads are impassable. Ben swore. Copy. I am self-transporting. Notify Providence Hospital. Pediatric trauma. I'm inbound. He wrapped the thermal blanket around Maya and scooped both children up. Coda flanked him, guarding their retreat. He placed them in the back seat, blasting the heater to maximum. Leo collapsed. Maya hadn't moved. Ben jumped into the driver's seat, hit the lights and sirens, and mashed the accelerator. This time, he would not be too late. Ben drove blind, navigating by memory. Dispatch 214. I am 2 blocks out from Providence ER. Have that pediatric trauma team on the curb. The hospital lights appeared, a beacon in the void. He spun the wheel, fishtailing onto the emergency ramp. The bay doors rolled open. He skidded sideways, the bumper striking concrete. The ER doors burst open. The trauma team stood outlined against sterile yellow light. Ben ripped his door open, emerging with Maya held tight to his chest, Leo clinging to his back. I need a doctor now. Dr. Aries Thorne stepped forward. A tall, gaunt man in his late 50s with intelligent, exhausted eyes. What do we have, officer? 1-year-old female profound hypothermia in respiratory arrest. Suspect severe asthma. 7-year-old male, severe hypothermia. Responsive but declining. Got it. Dr. Thorne took Maya. Chloe Ped's crash cart in Trauma 1. BVM and precharged the paddles. Inhaled albuterol and epinephrine now. Nurse Chloe Davis was already in motion. Compact, energetic, with fiery red hair. Sir, put the boy here. Ben gently placed Leo on the stretcher. Inside Trauma Bay 1, someone yelled. No pulse, doctor. She's in V-fib. Charging clear. The tiny body jumped. Still no pulse again. Chloe pulled Ben into the adjacent bay where Leo lay shivering. We need these wet clothes off. We're starting active rewarming. She picked up trauma shears and began cutting the soaked t-shirt. Leo, my name is Chloe. We're going to get you warm. As the shirt fell away, Chloe stopped. Ben stopped. The mottled pattern of hypothermia was broken by a different topography. Bruises in shades of greenish yellow and deep purple circling his ribs. And on his left shoulder, a perfectly round, puckered scar. A cigarette burn. Ben's vision tunneled. This wasn't an accident. This was a crime. He dropped to one knee, bringing his face level with Leo's. Leo, son, who did this to you? Leo's eyes filled with tears. He looked at the door, then back at Ben, and whispered. Jared. He gets mad. Jared, is Jared at home with your mom? Leo nodded. He threw Maya's breather in the snow. He locked mommy in the room. The phrase detonated in Ben's mind. This was attempted murder. Ben looked at Chloe. Keep him safe. He's a material witness. Do not let anyone near him until I get back. Ben moved with heavy, controlled, lethal purpose. He shoved through the doors into the wall of wind. Dispatch 214. I have a confirmed hostage situation. Domestic violence escalating to felony assault, unlawful imprisonment, aggravated assault on a minor. Suspect Jared at the last known address. Mother is his hostage. I need backup. Priority 1. The drive was now a hunt. Ben skidded to a stop in front of the apartment complex. Another cruiser pulled up. Officer Mark Rigg emerged. A man built like a refrigerator. Ben, what the hell is going on? The kids are at Providence. Maya's in respiratory arrest. Leo's covered in burns. The suspect, Jared, is in 2B. He's got their mother. Rigg's jaw tightened. Got it. They took the exterior stairs. Coda led silent and low. They heard a television blaring inside. Ben heard a faint thump and then a whimper. APD, open the door, he roared, simultaneously kicking the door. The frame splintered. Coda push. In the center of the room, a large man was struggling to get out of a recliner. Jared. He was in his late 30s, gone to seed. His dull eyes widened in confusion, then narrowed in rage. What the hell is this? Coda launched himself. The husky hit Jared in the chest with 90 pounds of focused canine fury. Jared crashed to the floor. Coda clamped around the man's forearm, a deep growl vibrating through the room. Police, show me your hands, Rigg bellowed. Ben didn't stop. He saw the door at the end of the hallway. Closed. He kicked it. Locked. He stepped back, raised his boot, and slammed his heel into the lock plate. The door flew open. In the far corner, huddled against the wall, was Serena. She looked like a ghost. She couldn't have been more than 30, but abuse had aged her. Her hair clung to her bruised and swollen face. One eye was sealed shut with purple bruising. Her lip was split. She wore only a thin torn nightgown. Her hands were bound behind her back with a zip tie and her mouth was covered with duct tape. As Ben's frame filled the doorway, she squeezed her eyes shut and made a single terrified animal sound. Ben lowered the shotgun. Ma'am, my name is Officer Carter. I'm with the APD. You're safe now. He knelt and gently began to pull the tape away from her face. Serena, my name is Officer Ben Carter. You are safe. The man who did this is in custody. He worked slowly, peeling the tape back. When it came free, she gasped, choking. Ben pulled his tactical knife and cut the zip tie. Her hands fell limply. Suspect secured, Rigg's voice boomed. A crash of furniture followed by Jared's roar. You pigs! That's my property. You're dead. Ben ignored it. He shed his heavy jacket and wrapped it around Serena's shoulders. Serena, we have to go. Your children are at the hospital. They are alive. They are waiting for you. Leo, she whispered. Maya. They're safe. Leo is a hero. He saved you all. Now, let me save you. He slid one arm under her knees and the other behind her back, lifting her easily. She buried her face into his jacket. Ben moved out. Rigg had Jared hauled up, arm twisted. Coda stood ready. As Ben walked past carrying Serena, Jared's eyes locked onto her. You bitch. You did this. When I get out, I'll find you. Rigg, get him out of here, Ben commanded. With pleasure. Rigg dragged Jared out. Ben carried Serena down the stairs. He reached the rear door of his cruiser and gently settled her onto the bench. She curled into a fetal position, clutching his jacket. Ben jumped in. Dispatch 214. Suspect is in custody. I have the female victim. Severe hypothermia, blunt force trauma, and broken ribs. I am self-transporting back to Providence. The drive back was grim and silent. Only the screaming wind, the heater, and Serena's quiet, agonizing sobs. As he pulled up the emergency ramp, the bay doors were already opening. Dr. Thorne and Nurse Chloe waited with a gurney. The rescue was over. The healing was about to begin. Dr. Thorne was already in motion. Get her in Bay 2 now. Cardiac monitor. 2 large bore IVs with warmed saline. Full trauma labs and X-ray for those ribs. Serena's hand shot out, grabbing Ben's arm. No, please. My children, where? They're here. They are safe. Leo is in the next room. Maya is with the pediatric team. These people are going to help you. You have to let them. She searched his face, then her grip loosened. Ben was left standing in the corridor. A new voice cut through. Officer Carter. Detective Al Karras approached. He had the gray, exhausted complexion of a man who had seen the absolute worst. Detective Karras. Riggs' call woke me up. Hell of a morning to be playing hero, Carter. Not a hero. The suspect, Jared Haynes, is in custody. Yeah, I heard. Haynes has a sheet. Assault, disorderly. Restraining orders he violated. His luck just ran out. The victims, how are they? Chloe emerged. The baby's stable. Dr. Thorne got her intubated. Severe asthma attack, complicated by hypothermia. She was in V-fib, but they got her back. She's on her way to the PICU. She's a fighter. The mother Serena is asking for you. And for Leo. Karras snapped his notepad shut. Let's see what we've got. Chloe led them to a pediatric room. Leo was sitting up in a small bed, swallowed by a large hospital gown. The waxy blue tint was gone, replaced by the blotchy red of rapid rewarming. He was wrapped in a heated blanket. 2 orderlies wheeled Serena's gurney into the room. Their eyes met across the room. Leo. Serena breathed. Mommy. Leo's voice was tiny. He looked at her face, at the bruises, and his own face crumpled. He hurt you. I'm okay, baby. I'm okay. Are you? He nodded. She held out her hand. Leo scrambled off the bed and climbed onto the side of her gurney, clutching her hand and laying his head on the pillow beside hers. For a full minute, they just breathed. A mother and son, 2 survivors tethered together. Leo's head turned, his small eyes finding Ben. Officer Ben. Is Jared coming back? Serena flinched. Ben stepped forward and knelt, bringing his ice-blue eyes level with Leo's. He put his large hand over the boy's. Leo, you look at me, and you look at me, too, Serena. She opened her eye. That man is in a steel cage. He is not coming back. He will never touch you again. He will never touch Maya again. I am giving you my word. As an officer and as a man. It was an oath. Leo stared at him, and then a single shuddering sob of pure relief escaped him. He nodded. Serena finally let go. The silent stoic mask dissolved, and she began to cry. Deep, agonizing, healing sobs of release. Ben stood up, gave Leo's shoulder a final squeeze, and quietly backed out. Karras looked at him. That's a hell of a promise to make, Carter. You can't guarantee what a judge will do. He won't get to a judge. The charges, attempted murder on the baby, felony assault and unlawful imprisonment on the mother, aggravated assault on the boy. He's not getting bail. 2 weeks passed. The whiteout was a memory. For Serena, Leo, and Maya, the storm had simply moved indoors. They were safe, relocated to a state-funded domestic violence shelter. It was a clean building with cinder block walls painted pale green, reinforced doors, and strict visitation policy. Maya was fully recovered. Leo, however, was not. The nightmares came every night. He would wake up screaming. Their only visitor was Ben. Today, he was off duty in a gray Henley and jeans. He had brought Coda inside. 10 minutes, Officer, Maria Sanchez, the shelter's director, said. The dog is good for him, but don't make promises you can't keep. Ben found Leo in the common room, pushing a crayon across paper. Hey, champ, Ben said. Leo's head snapped up, landing on Coda. The terror receded. Coda, he whispered. The husky walked forward and pushed his head under Leo's hand. Leo buried his face in the dog's fur. Serena emerged holding Maya. She looked better. The bruises had faded. Officer, she said. Ben, please call me Ben. He looked at Maya. She looks 1,000 times better. Serena's gaze hardened. He doesn't sleep. He won't let me turn the lights off. He just waits for Jared. Jared is in jail, Serena. No bail. Ben's phone buzzed. Detective Karras. Yeah, Al. What's up? You're not going to like this, Ben. Jared's lawyer worked some magic. He argued the kids were never in direct danger. That it was neglect, not attempted murder. The whiteout was the real culprit. He said Serena was a willing participant. Al. I know. But the lawyer put doubt in the judge's mind. The attempted murder charge was dropped to felony endangerment. The judge reduced his bail. Ben's blood went cold. How reduced? He made it. Hannes has been out on bond for 2 hours. Temporary restraining order. 500 yards from the shelter. But Ben, he's out. Ben closed his eyes. Thanks for the heads up. He walked back into the common room. Serena saw his face and knew. What? Jared, his lawyer, he made bail. He's out. The color drained from Serena's face. No. He'll find us. Mommy? Leo stood. Is the monster coming? Ben knelt. No. I'm staying. I'll be right outside. He called Maria. He's out. I want this building on lockdown. Maria nodded. Ben looked at Coda. Coda, guard. The husky lay down at Leo's feet. He'll stay with you tonight. He'll keep you safe until I'm back. Ben spent the next 8 hours parked across from the shelter's gated entrance. Just after 3 a.m., a beat-up dark green sedan drove by. It slowed as it passed the shelter. Ben couldn't see the face, just the silhouette of a large man and the red glow of a cigarette. The car sped up and disappeared. The restraining order was 500 yards. The car had been at 510. He wasn't just out. He was hunting. The next 2 weeks were a war of nerves. Ben worked his shifts and slept in his truck at the shelter. Jared's car was seen twice more, always just outside the legal limit. Then the day of the trial arrived. The courtroom was small and beige. Serena sat behind the prosecutor's table, hands clenched. Jared sat at the defense table, smirking. He looked at Serena with possessive venomous contempt. Ben sat in the front row in his dress uniform. Coda lay at his feet. The trial was a brutal dissection of pain. The prosecutor presented photos of Serena's face, X-rays of her ribs, the close-up of the cigarette burn on Leo's shoulder. Jared's lawyer argued the burn was an accident. The prosecution calls Leo Carter. Serena had legally changed their last names to Carter. Leo, in a small suit, walked to the stand. He looked tiny. Leo, do you know the man sitting over there? Leo's gaze flickered to Jared. He flinched. Yes. Can you tell the court his name? Jared, he whispered. On cross-examination, the defense attorney began. You were scared that day, weren't you? It was a big storm. It's easy to get confused when you're cold. This burn, your mom's friend Jared, he didn't mean to hurt you, did he? It was an accident. You fell against his cigarette. Leo said nothing. Jared stared at him with a menacing smile. Leo's eyes filled with tears. His gaze drifted and found Ben in the front row. Ben met his gaze. A solid, unmoving wall. At his feet, Coda let out a soft whine. Leo saw his dog. He took a deep breath, turned back to the lawyer. "No," he said. "No." "What do you mean no?" "It wasn't an accident. He got mad 'cause Maya was crying. He burned me. He said it would make me quiet. He said he'd do it to Maya, too, if I didn't shut up. And then he took her breather, her medicine. He said she was faking. And he threw it outside in the snow. And he locked my mommy in the room. I heard her crying. I had to go find it 'cause Maya couldn't breathe." The courtroom went silent. "You little liar!" Jared roared, starting to rise. "I'll kill you." "Bailiff," the judge shouted. Ben was already standing between Jared's table and the witness stand, his hand on his sidearm. Coda was on his feet, a low growl rumbling. Jared was cuffed, screaming as he was dragged from the room. It was over. The verdict was a formality. Guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced Jared Haynes to the maximum, calling his actions fundamentally evil. Spring came to Anchorage. The snow melted. The frozen tundra turned vibrant green. In a small sunlit apartment, Serena was packing a lunch. She had a new job. In the living room, Maya, now a healthy toddler, was taking her first wobbly steps. She tottered, fell, and was licked by Coda, now officially retired and permanently adopted by the Carter family. A car horn honked. Leo grabbed his backpack. "Ben's here," he shouted. Ben Carter stood on the sidewalk out of uniform, wearing jeans and flannel. He watched Leo run to him and knelt and hugged the boy without the shadow of the past. It wasn't a replacement. It was a resurrection. Serena came out holding Maya's hand. She and Ben looked at each other, a quiet, comfortable silence. "Ready to go?" "Coda needs to run." The final scene was in the park. The grass was green, the sky brilliant blue. Ben was throwing a ball for Coda, his laughter mixing with Leo's. Serena sat on a blanket watching Maya toddle through the grass. Ben looked at this new family, his family. The ice inside him, the long 5-year winter of his grief, was finally truly gone. He had found his own sunrise. This story shows us that even in the heart of the most blinding storm, there is a plan. Was it coincidence that the one officer haunted by a child's loss was patrolling that forgotten street? Was it just training that made Coda bark at a pile of snow? Or was it a miracle? We believe it was God moving in ways we cannot see. He sent a 4-legged angel to answer desperate prayers. He sent Ben, a man whose own heart was frozen, to be the warmth that would thaw a family. In our own lives, we all face blinding whiteouts, moments where we cannot see the path forward. But this story reminds us to have faith. Help is coming. Be the Ben in someone's storm. If this story touched your heart, please share it. Do you believe in miracles?